Welcome to Moon Mind. In this video, you are about to discover something both simple and profound. Your mind is shaping your experience right now. Every moment of peace you have ever felt. Every moment of confusion, tension, or pain began first in the mind. Before circumstances. Before reactions. Before the world seemed to change. The source was always closer than it appeared. From the quiet forests of early India, to mountain monasteries in Tibet, to Zen temples in Japan, to the life of a small bird who had not yet learned how to fly. Different places, different times, different lives, yet all pointing to the same truth. Heaven is not a place you arrive at. It is a state the mind creates. And just as easily, so is suffering. The same mind that creates distress is also capable of releasing it. This journey will take time. Not because it is complicated, but because some truths are not meant to be rushed. So before we begin, allow yourself to settle. Find a comfortable position, sitting or lying down. Let your shoulders drop naturally. Let the breath move without control. Wherever you are in the world right now, you are welcome here. The first story begins in Japan, outside the quiet entrance of a Zen temple. A warrior stands at the gate. He has traveled a long distance carrying a question that has followed him for years. Where is heaven? Where is hell? And how does one find one while avoiding the other? He has faced danger without hesitation. He has stood in battle where others trembled. He has looked directly at death and did not turn away. Fear, for him, has never been the problem. But this question has remained persistent, unanswered. He had heard of a Zen master known as Hakuin. People spoke of him not as a philosopher, but as someone who embodied understanding. Not someone who explained truth, but someone who revealed it. So the warrior made the journey. When he arrived, he wasted no time. Standing before the master, he asked directly, "Where is heaven? Where is hell?" Hakuin did not answer immediately. He looked at the warrior carefully. Then he asked a question of his own. "Who are you?" The warrior straightened slightly. "I am a samurai." He said it with certainty. Not as opinion. As fact. Because for him, that identity had been earned. Years of discipline before sunrise. Endless training. Battles survived. Pain endured. Respect gained. This was not ego in his mind. It was simply the truth of what he had become. Hakuin continued to observe him quietly. Then he said, "A samurai? You look more like a beggar." The words landed instantly. Sharp. Unexpected. Something ignited inside the warrior. Heat rose through his chest. His jaw tightened. The body reacted before thought could intervene. His hand moved to his sword. Fingers closing around the hilt. The blade beginning to lift. And in that exact moment, Hakuin said calmly, "This is the gate of hell." Everything stopped. Not because the warrior was convinced, but because something deeper interrupted the reaction. For the first time, he did not look outward. He looked inward. And what he saw surprised him. The anger. The surge of heat. The immediate need to defend himself. The certainty that he had been insulted. All of it was there. But for the first time, he saw something else. It had come from within him. The master had not placed it there. The words had not created it. They had only revealed what was already waiting. Like a spark landing on dry ground. The fire had always been possible. Now it was visible. In that pause, awareness replaced reaction. Slowly, the warrior released his grip on the sword. The blade lowered. The breath deepened. The tension in his body began to soften. The storm passed, not because the world changed, but because he saw it clearly. Hakuin watched him. And then, with the same quiet voice, said, "And this is the gate of heaven." The teaching. Nothing outside the warrior had changed. The same man stood before him. The same room. The same moment. Only one thing was different. The state of his mind. A moment earlier, he stood in hell. Consumed by anger, ready to act without awareness. Moments later, he stood in peace. Present, grounded, no longer controlled by the reaction. This is the teaching. Heaven and hell are not distant destinations. They arise in the same place. The mind. Every day, in small moments, this same doorway appears. When someone speaks sharply. When something does not go your way. When the image you hold of yourself feels challenged. In that instant, the gate opens. Reaction leads one way. Awareness leads another. And the choice is often made before words are spoken. Not by thinking. But by seeing. Crescent Moon Reflection. As you rest here tonight, consider gently. Where does your mind create tension? Where does it create ease? What reactions rise automatically? And what happens when you pause long enough to notice them? You do not need to force anything. You do not need to become someone else. Only to see clearly. Because once something is seen clearly, it begins to lose its hold. The next story will take you somewhere very different. But it will reveal the same truth in another form. For now, just rest. Let the body soften. Let the mind settle. And notice. Even in this moment. How experience is being shaped from within. Story 2, The Mustard Seed, Releasing the Illusion of Isolation. After the warrior lowered his sword and discovered the gate within his own mind, we move to another place. Another kind of suffering. A quieter one. This story begins with a mother walking through a village at dawn. She carries a small bundle in her arms. Her child. But the child no longer breathes. Still, she refuses to believe it. Her name is Kisagami. And grief has narrowed her world into a single desperate hope. Someone, somewhere, must have a cure. She knocks on doors. Her voice trembles, but her question remains steady. Do you have medicine for my son? People open their doors, see the stillness of the child, and their expressions soften. Some try to explain. Others lower their gaze. But Kisagami does not hear them. She is not looking for comfort. She is searching for a way to undo reality. Finally, someone tells her. There is a teacher nearby. He may help you. So she goes. She finds the Buddha seated beneath a tree. She kneels before him, her voice breaking. Please, give me medicine to bring my child back. The Buddha looks at her, not with pity, but with complete understanding. I can help you, he says gently. Hope floods her instantly. But first, he continues, bring me a handful of mustard seeds. She nods quickly. That is easy. Bring them, he adds, from a household that has never known death. She pauses. But only briefly. In her urgency, it still seems possible. She rushes back into the village. At the first house, she asks for mustard seeds. They bring them gladly. Then she asks. Has anyone here ever died? The woman's face changes. My father, last year. Kisagami returns the seeds. At the next house. Our daughter. At the next. My husband. At the next. A brother. House after house. Door after door. Every home offers mustard seeds. Every home has known loss. As the day passes, something begins to shift. Not in the world, but in her understanding of it. The grief she believed was hers alone begins to open. She walks to the edge of the village as evening falls. Lights begin to glow in windows. Behind each one, a story of love and loss. She sees it clearly now. Her suffering is not unique. It is shared. And in that recognition, something softens. Not the pain of losing her child, but the loneliness around it. She returns to the Buddha. Empty-handed. I could not find a single house untouched by death, she says quietly. The Buddha nods. Now you understand. This is the second teaching. Much of suffering comes not only from pain, but from believing we suffer alone. When that illusion breaks, the heart begins to open again.